Hi folks, and welcome back to another Travels of Red Rover. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Corinne.
And where are we today, Corinne?
Today we are in Nevada at the Lake Mead National Recreation Area.
And right now we're actually out on the Virgin River. The Virgin River goes into Lake Mead, and we're out at an area called the Overton Arm.
And we've been dispersed camping here overnight. Our tour today is going to show you some of the less well-known areas of the Lake Mead National Recreation Area. And in addition to some camping, we hope to show you a little bit of photography. So stick with us, and I hope you enjoy the ride. We came into the Lake Mead National Recreation Area from the north end. We had been up by the Valley of Fire State Park, and we came in from the entrance that's very close to the northwest entrance of the Valley of Fire. And this is not too far from the town of Overton that's at the top end of this arm of the Virgin River. We've driven out some gravel roads to Stewart Point, and out here there's a whole bunch of dispersed camping, lots of space to spread out, lots of gravel areas, mostly level, and there's some fire pits already made up. Near the entrance to this area there is a small vault toilet, so if you need to use some toilet facilities while you're visiting the area, you can park near the vault toilet. We'll give you a little view of some of the camping as we go, and also show you some views of the lake. We had a nice camp spot here on the shore of the lake. We have a nice level location and no neighbors close by. We did take a walk this morning and went by several other trailers and fifth wheels. It's a bit windy this morning. We're looking out towards the Overton Arm, and there have been some small boats out on the river doing some fishing today. There's several marinas that allow access to the water so that you can put a boat in. Many years ago, the lake level was a lot higher. The area we were in was actually covered by water. And as you walk around the area of the campgrounds and the gravel, you can find some of these seashells, which are a pretty decent size.
After our walk, we headed off to Echo Bay. It's one of the places where you can put boats in the water, and we thought it might make a nice lunch spot.
We've just come down to the boat launch that's at Echo Bay. Today it's nice and warm, not too windy. There's lots of boats getting launched. There's approximately 4 boat launches that are similar to this. They've been moved from higher up because the water level is so much lower than it used to be. But you can get into the water here at Echo Bay. There's also some spots at a few other of the more southern marinas.
On the boat launch, there's a small dirt track that heads out to the end of the peninsula, where we would find a nice location for lunch.
Oh, that's close to the edge, Shawn.
This is our view from the truck. We're going to have a little lunch down here at the beach. It's an absolutely beautiful day, and there are lots of people on the beach today. It's just a gorgeous day. Wind's a little breezy, but not enough to not enjoy the beach. So Corinne and I decided to stop down at the beach to have a little lunch. Corinne's about to Put a little bit of taco meat on our taco salads. And it should make a great lunch. Thank you, Corinne.
You're welcome.
So Lake Mead is predominantly formed by a dam called the Hoover Dam that plugs up the Colorado River. And over time, the lake has been drained in order to support agriculture down in Arizona and California. It's also the main water source now for Las Vegas, and there are major pumping operations. The lake's level is actually very dependent on snowfall in the Colorado area up in the Rocky Mountains. And over the last few years, I'd say the last 20 years, we've been getting less and less snowfall, and consequently just don't have enough water coming into the river to support the lake relative to the amount of water being taken out of the river. After a lovely lunch and a little rest, we got ourselves together and started to head for our photographic location for the evening.
Hi, we're here at the Redstone Dunes Loop on the west side of Lake Mead, and we're going to go for a walk, maybe see if there's any chance of photography tonight. Right now it's looking pretty cloudy on the horizon, so we're not sure what we're going to see. There's a picnic area here at the Redstone Loop and lots of covered picnic spots, which you'll need if you're here on a sunny day. And you can see also that there's some really interesting rock formations made out of old fossilized sand dunes, very bright and red in contrast to the mountains in the distance that are limestone.
This is actually a pretty good shot going this way.
So we weren't quite sure what to expect when we first came out here. It was very cloudy on the horizon, although the sun had been very bright most of the day. So we decided to take a chance and just come out to the view spots where there's some interesting red rocks and see if we could get any light just after the sun got lower and just before sunset. And it looks like we're getting a small little break in the cloud, so it's helping to light up some of our rocks here in the distance. And with some filters, we may be able to get some half-decent shots. Well, I'm working on a shot here with this red rock just behind me, and the sun is setting just over my head. So I'm going to use a 3-stop hard edge graduated filter to reduce the brightness in the sky and make that rock a little bit more prominent. Here's the view from the back of my camera. A little bit glare, but hopefully you can see that. There's a rock with quite a cave underneath the front edge, and you can see there's quite a bit of action happening in those clouds with lots of shape and definition around where the highlights are. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to capture that in my images. After I take a picture, I often check on how the histogram looks in the back of the camera on my shot. In this one, you can see that the histogram has a nice flow from left to right, and that there's nothing that's really spiking at either side. So this will be a good one that I can bring out some of the details where there might be shadows, but it's not too dark to work with. So that should be great for processing. The complication with working in an area like this is that there is a lot of busyness between rocks that are on various angles and different textures. A lot of plants that maybe not in the most attractive locations. Everything's jutting out at different angles, and some are round, some are angular. And you can't quite find a decent leading line into your picture. It's just a little bit chaotic.
So I'm really struggling tonight. I'm working with this scene that you see in the back of the camera here. And I'm just going to go out and I'll show you what it looks like out here. The challenge with this scene is that the site is very complicated, and without any sort of light on the rocks tend to just fold together. It becomes one large smear. So it really becomes a challenge to try to create some separation in the shot. What I'm trying to do, I don't know how successful, but I'm trying to use some of that scrubby silvery bush between the small cave in the front of the photograph and the rocks in the back of the photograph to give some separation, and hopefully that will work. I've got a pretty sky. There's really no color in it, but it's got a lot of character in the sky, so I'm including a lot of sky in the photograph, and we'll have to see how that kind of works out. The other thing I'm having to do is to use quite a bit of filtering, HD filters on the front in order to bring that sky into about the same exposure level as the ground. The sky is actually really very, very bright relative to the ground, and with the sort of red on red or red brown on red brown, it makes it even more of a challenge just to bring that sky in. And right now I'm actually using 6 stops. I'm using a graduated neutral density filter, but I'm using a soft edge. That way I don't make the top of the furthest away mountain quite so black. So Corinne and I are moving locations. As the light's developing, it's moving off in a direction that we can't see very well from our current location. So we're just working our way down the trail a little bit. Hopefully the sky will color up a little bit. It'll add a lot to these shots because without that, it's a pretty flat photograph. So Corinne's found a new position. She's getting low, and the reason she's getting low is that she is working on this image right here with this large red brown rock, and hoping to catch some of the bits of color that are going to form in the sky above the rock. I'm going to try something a little different. I'm going to go in this direction, and hopefully, let's see, yeah, and look at that sky out in that direction. Can't see it on here very well, but it's starting to get a little bit of yellowy color in it, and it may go, it's the kind of cloud that tends to go pink right at sunset. Well, it's officially sunset, and Corinne's still working on her composition here. We're actually waiting for that sky over there to light up a little bit. Color has definitely showed up. It is beautiful pink streaming up above the red rock in the distance there, and we're going to get busy shooting. So Corinne, what did you think of the night?
Well, we didn't have high hopes because it was pretty cloudy about a half hour before sunset, but it was certainly worth coming out and capturing a few photos here because toward the sunset time, got a little bit of pink in the clouds, and there were certainly some interesting shapes and colors. So that made it pop a little bit more.
Well, the light's pretty much done for the evening. And as Corinne just said, we got rewarded for coming out, which is always nice. Sometimes you come out and you don't get any good light at all. Tonight we got some actually really very nice light considering how overcast it was before we got out here, and how much we thought that the sun would just get totally buried in a big bank of clouds behind us here. But there must have been a little bit of an opening and the sun cracked through, and it's exactly why you have to come out and shoot, even if you don't think it's going to work out. Well, that's it for us tonight. It's time to break down and head back to Red Rover. And here are a few of the shots that we took during the evening. We hope you enjoy them. Well, thanks for coming along for this video. We sure hope you enjoyed it.
We enjoyed having you along and exploring some parts of the Lake Mead National Recreation Area that you may not have known about.
We got a lovely night of photography in as well, with some really beautiful landscape shots, which we really enjoyed taking.
And so if you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll give us a thumbs up. And if you want to know when more of our videos are posted, you should subscribe. That would be very helpful.
And as always, if you want to know when we release videos, hit that bell signal symbol just down below here.
And as always, if you have any questions or comments or would like to know anything more about the content in this video, please be sure to put a comment in the section below.
Again, thanks for coming along, and bye for now.